So I made the statement in one of my last videos that DeAndre Ayton is a potential top 5 center in the NBA. I stand by that 100%. But I understand the pushback. I get it. But just let me explain a couple reasons why I say that. So listen. In 2018-2019, DeAndre Ayton averaged 16 points and 10 rebounds. 2019-20, 18 points, 11.5 rebounds. If I told you in 2020-21 he averaged 22 or 23 points and 13 rebounds, you'd say, oh, okay, sounds about right, right? He didn't. In 2020-2021, he averaged 14 points and 10 rebounds. Okay, now, I bring that up because what was the context? What was happening in the NBA at the time? And in my opinion, the NBA was going away from big men. Right? Mind you, the Lakers won the bubble title in 2020. Right? What did we have in 2020? We had the Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, and Anthony Davis. Now the Lakers are trying to get back to that. Right? They're treating that lineup with those three bigs as if it didn't even happen and they didn't know better until now. They just now figure out the whole league is going back. Motherfucker, you won the title. You set the model. The model that everybody is looking at right now, you set. It just got blown up because everyone decided that the way to play was Golden State's way. Right? The league began to go away, or was in the process of going away from big men. And if you're DeAndre Ayton, who's a victim of that, that's what I saw. Because, let's give you an example. Jahlil Okafor averaged 18 points and 8 rebounds a game in his rookie year. The dude is considered a total joke now. And he was made the butt of jokes. And he was made the fall guy. Right? Because the league decided, look, if you see something as less valuable as something else, you will treat that as less valuable than something else. And that's what the league did. That's exactly what the league did to DeAndre Ayton. The league started to treat big men in very similarly to how the league treats rookies. Right? So you look at Don't Connect. Don't Connect averaged 17 points, 5 rebounds, shooting 55% overall from the field, 48% from 3, 88% from the free throw line. This is over the first 20 games of 2024-2025 season. Right? All the games he started in that stretch, those were his averages. And when he was doing that shit, no one had a damn thing to say about his defense. No one said shit about his defense. Listen to the talking heads talk about him now. Listen to the people who are throwing him in every trade. Listen to how they talk about him now. Oh, the dude don't play defense. He can't learn. He has a low IQ. All this other shit. They weren't talking that shit when he was averaging 17 points, 5 rebounds, no stats I just told you. They weren't saying that. It's all about value. When Austin Reeves came back, when Gabe Vincent came back, Don't Connect's value went down. That's all that happened. And they treated him as a rookie very similarly to how they treat centers. How they treated centers and big men for a long time. So even right now, you hear the talking head say, oh, we need 2 big men. Motherfucker, when did you just figure that out? Huh? Because after 2020, it was we need a death lineup. We need a 3-and-D wing. We need a stretch 5. We need everything that coincided with somebody shooting threes. Right? And obviously, the bigger you are, you're not as good at shooting the 3-pointer. So then what happened to the big man? Right? And that's all I was trying to get at when I said he's a potential top 5 center in the NBA. Look, the dude is athletic. He runs the floor well. He has a fantastic touch around the rim. He could shoot a 15 to 20 footer. He's in great shape. You know, I don't know. People keep talking about his motor, but in my opinion, that's more that narrative shit. I can't say that his motor is bad. I seen him in Phoenix when he was on TV. Did I watch him while he was in Portland? No. Who the fuck watched Portland? You know, which Laker fan is watching Portland games? I watched him when he was in Phoenix, and I thought he was fantastic. That's what I thought. And I'm being honest with you, telling you I ain't watching him in Portland. If you were honest, you'd say the same thing. You ain't watching when he was in Portland. You know? So that's part of the reason why. You look at what his stats are, then you look at his attributes. The dude is obviously, right, a player with the potential, a center with the potential to be a top 5 center. Now, not all centers got the potential to be top 5 centers in the NBA. Jock Landale don't have the potential to be a top 5 center in the NBA. Who else? What other centers are out there? Jackson Hayes does not have the potential to be a top 5 center in the NBA, right? So I'm not saying that just to say it. You know, I'm not saying that with no meaning behind it. I'm trying to be reasonable here. DeAndre Ayton obviously has the potential to be a top 5 center in the NBA. Is he? I wouldn't say he is right now. He is not right now, but he got the potential. And him averaging 18 points and 11.5 rebounds in his second year, it says he has the potential, right? If you ask, well, how come he didn't progress? Well, what was the league doing at the time? Did the league promote big men? Or is that what you're starting to hear more now, right? Are you not starting to hear more respect for the mid-range game now? Especially since you see guys like Shai Gilgeous just killing people from the mid-range, you know? You're starting to hear it more now than you were before. People are starting to respect the mid-range more now than before, right? The game is going back to what the game has always been, you know? This 10-year little window was something that was special because stupid-ass general managers thought that they could duplicate Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant, right? So now you're hearing teams go back to that. You're hearing the Lakers and the talking heads, the same talking heads that been yelling 3-and-D wing and stretch 5 and death lineup and all this other dumb shit. The same talking heads are now saying, oh, we need 2 big men. We need to go big. Right? As if in 2020 we weren't doing that. I don't get it, but whatever, right? So, I put together a list of the players that I think I'll put it like this. DeAndre Ayton also, he needs a couple of things to go right for him. One, he needs to stay healthy, right? 2, he needs for JJ Redick to institute an offense in which he is involved, in which his value is realized. Look, the Lakers aren't winning shit unless DeAndre Ayton's value is realized. They're just not. The West got better, right? The Lakers may have picked up, arguably, the most valuable player, one of the most valuable players in this offseason. But his potential has to be realized. Now, am I saying that all of a sudden he needs to average 25 and 15? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I believe DeAndre Ayton next year could average 22 and 12. Easy. I don't even think it's that big a deal, crazy thing to say. When you got to do like Luka on your team, and you got to do like LeBron on your team, and you got to do like Austin Reeves. I do think Austin Reeves should be traded. I do. I don't think he fits well. But Austin Reeves is a very unselfish player, a very smart player, and a very crafty playmaker. So you got those 3 guys on the court. Yo, man, if you're in the right place at the right time doing what you're supposed to do, you should average 22 and 12 next year. I don't think it's a crazy thing to say. And personally, I think he will. But let's put that in perspective. If he were to average 22 and 12, right? Karl Anthony Towns averages 24 and 12. That's 24 and 13. That's what Karl Anthony Towns averages. And I think Karl Anthony Towns is worse than DeAndre Ayton in many other ways. I'm not going to go into that right now, But I think he's worse than DeAndre Ayton in many other ways. I could do a whole video on that. Jaren Jackson Jr., 22-5. Alperen Sengun, 19-10. Now, while he's 19-10, and I project, or I think DeAndre Ayton could do 22-12 next year, I wouldn't be tripping if you say Alperen Sengun's a better player. I'm not tripping about that. I'm just saying that DeAndre Ayton is a top 5 center, or has the potential to be a top 5 center, is not that crazy if you think about it. All right? So, Bam Adebayo, 18-9. I don't think he's better. Nikola Vucevic, 18-10. I don't think he's going to be better. Ivica Zubac, 16-12. Now, Ivica Zubac is one player who you could say statistically is not as good, but I think he is arguably better than DeAndre Ayton. Domantas Sabonis, 19-13. I don't think his 19-13 is going to be better than DeAndre Ayton's 22-12. Naz Reid, 14-6. Nope. Miles Turner, 15-6. Nope. Rudy Gobert, 12-10. Nope. You see, look, I'm saying nope, but you guys got to understand, man. If a number 1 pick averages 22-12, you got to respect that shit. You know, this is not just some random ass 22-12. You know, this is expected. This is prophesized. You know, this is something more than just some random ass dude averaging 22-12, right? So, hey man, my list is this. This is who I got better, or close to as good, if you want to say that. Nikola Jokic, Alperen Sengun, Karl Anthony Towns. Even though I'm telling you, if DeAndre Ayton averages 22-12, it's going to be a different 22-12 than Karl Anthony Towns. And I think I'd rather have DeAndre Ayton's, right? Victor Wembanyama and Ivica Zubac. Those are the 5 players, with Karl Anthony Towns being a maybe, that I think are as good as what I expect DeAndre Ayton to be next year, which is 22-12. And by the way, 22-12, would that surprise anybody? Given that he averaged 18 points and 11.5 rebounds in his second season, right? 2019-2020, he averaged 18 points and 10 rebounds in 2022-23. Would it really surprise anybody if he averaged 22 or 23 and 12? You see what I'm saying? So when I say he's a potential top 5 center in the NBA, yo man, you guys are only tripping about that. Well, some of you. And again, I respect your opinions. I respect what you think. But some of you are only tripping about that because of the narratives. There's a narrative out there about DeAndre Ayton. People are talking about him like he's a total clown. He ain't. He is not. You know? And like I said before, if he was 20 pounds heavier and complained after every call, right? People would have a problem with him. That's Luka. Luka does that. When he come out the game and he hits a chair or something like that, people got a problem with it. Kobe did that. All kinds of players do that. It's just that this dude got the narrative going against him. That's all it is. He got the world against him. You know? And the world is against a big center. Lastly, I'm going to say like this, and I'm going to end up in this video. You know, a center has to receive the ball. If JJ Redick allows Luka Doncic to pound the air out of the ball for 18, 19 seconds of a shot clock, right? You will not see DeAndre Ayton average that 22-12. It's not going to happen. Okay? You know, recently a report just came out that said Austin Reeves and LeBron James are not happy playing next to Luka. I think it was clickbait. But the reason why I took knowledge of it is because the way Luka plays, I could imagine 2 guys like LeBron James and Austin Reeves not being happy playing next to Luka. I get it. The dude plays a Luka-centric style of basketball. And I keep saying that Phil Jackson, at one point, goes to Michael Jordan. This is true. Goes to Michael Jordan and says to him, hey, look, man, we got to change this offense. So we're going to put in this offense, and you're going to get as many shots as you did before, but you're just not going to hold the ball as much. But you're going to have the opportunity to catch the ball in your spots and do what you do as many times as you did before. It just won't hold the ball as much. And Michael Jordan said, cool. It was the triangle offense I'm talking about, right? And that's what that's what JJ Redick has to do with this team. JJ Redick has to put controls on Luka. You can't just let Luka have the ball and go. Can't do it. His game is kind of stupid, right? Now, it's not an insult, because great players could do stupid shit and make it look fantastic. That's why they're great. You know what I mean? That's not only why, but that's why. That's partially why they're great. Because they just got that ability, you know? But DeAndre Ayton, who I think immediately becomes the third best player on the Lakers team, DeAndre Ayton is going to need to be part of an offense. An offense that governs Luka Doncic. Not LeBron, not Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic. Dude holds the ball too damn long. And so what I'm saying is DeAndre Ayton's success depends on JJ Redick. And JJ Redick's ability to go to Luka and say, hey man, cut that shit out. Pass the effing ball. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to JJ Redick's ability to institute an offense that gets the ball out of Luka's hands. Allows him to be the guy he is. Allows him to catch the ball with 14 seconds on the shot clock and do something with it. But make sure the rest of the team touches the ball too. Right? So, again, you know, to those of you who said that they thought I was tripping because I said DeAndre Ayton is a potential top 5 center in the NBA. I hear stuff like that. And I also hate when people just put shit out and don't back it up. You know what I mean? Or say something and don't qualify it. So I heard what you said, and you're right. Saying he's a potential top 5 center in the NBA needs to be qualified. And those were my points, right? It's that, one, he has the ability to be a top 5 center in the NBA. He has that potential. I'm not saying he is, but I think we could all agree that when you look at his physical attributes, his ability to shoot around the rim, his touch, his size, right? The dude has the physical attributes to be a top 5 center in the NBA. That's one. I'm not saying he is, I'm just saying he got the attributes, right? 2, he's a victim of the times. He was a victim of the times, right? After the bubble championship, the Lakers went away from the big man thing too, you know? And in the same year that the Lakers won with 3 big men on their team, he averaged 18 and 10 or 18 and 11.5. That's just the truth, right? Second year. You project that out, he's obviously a potential top 5 center in the NBA, right? Any center that does that in their second or first year, they got the potential. Is it going to be realized? I don't know, but they got the potential, right? Third, he was a victim of narratives that other players weren't. He was a victim of double standards that other players weren't. If he did the same shit Luka did, he'd be out of the NBA. Right? Luka could do it because Luka is Luka. But if he did the same shit, he'd be out the NBA. You know, him hitting the chair, he's acting childish. Other people call it passion. If you got a beef with the fact that the dude wouldn't drive in snow, one of the hardest workers I know at the power plant I used to work at would not drive in snow. You know, the dude just had some mental shit. I don't fucking know. He wanted to drive in snow. You know what I mean? And then you look at how he's a guy like Dalton Connect's treated. They made up this narrative that the motherfucker don't play defense. Right? They weren't saying that shit when he was kicking ass. Right? Over that 16, 20 game stretch. They weren't saying that shit. They said that shit when it became convenient. And DeAndre Ayton is a victim of that same type of mentality. You know, he caught it. He caught it. Right player, wrong time, man. Wrong time to be that player in the NBA. You know? So, and then, you know, lastly, just remember what I'm saying to you. In order for him to be and realize his potential, he has to receive the ball. He has to be given the opportunity. And just because you're in the game don't mean you're given the opportunity. If you have a coach who decides that in Game 5 versus Rudy Gobert, we're going to let Rudy Gobert look like Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem, and Hakeem Olajuwon combined, and we're not going to play a center, then I'm telling you right now, you are putting DeAndre Ayton in a situation in which he is not supposed to realize his potential. He's not supposed to. Right? If JJ Redick doesn't come off that dumb shit, he won't realize his potential and the Lakers won't be as good. It's just what it is. Right? DeAndre Ayton has to receive the ball. And he has to receive the ball in certain places. If he doesn't, and JJ Redick does not run that offense, then yeah, he will not realize that potential. All right. So anyway, I'm just saying, respect to all those who watched the video and who had that constructive criticism. I think it's constructive criticism to say, nah, he's not a top 5 center or top 10 center, or not. He don't have the potential. I said DeAndre Ayton has the potential. You were saying he doesn't, and I just provided my reasons why I think he has the potential to be a top 5 center in the NBA. But I think it's interesting. Interesting convo, man. Interesting topic. So anyway, please like and subscribe, and I'll hit you up next time. Peace.